Jerry Pinto is from Mumbai, originally from Goa. He acclaimed writer of poetry and prose and fiction. His works include Surviving Women, Bombay, Mary John, Writings on Mumbai, Asylum and Other Poems, M in the Big Room, Baluta, and Helen, The Life and Times of an H-Bomb, the last of which won the National Film Award in 2007, and the second to last, M in the Big Room, for which he won the Hindu Literary Prize and the Crossword Book Award in 2012 and 2013. The About the Author sections of his novels, of his books, point to a very eclectic backstory as a math teacher and a librarian, a child rights advocate, and so much more. And many other books that you have, in fact, seen. And Jerry was here in Cody the past few days as our guest writer and instructor and teacher at our writing workshop. And Jerry, can you talk a little bit about how that went? Did you enjoy the workshop?
At the beginning of every workshop, there's that one moment when you think someone's going to wise up and they're going to walk in here and frog march me out because they're going to say, what do you know about writing? And you're going to try and teach it. Then I console myself with the fact that when you conduct a workshop, you're actually in the process of being taught by the students you are with. It becomes, if you can try and get rid of what I think plagues the Indian education system, which is that students feel that you're some kind of fount of knowledge and they are receptacles into which you will pour this and they will go out and their lives will be dramatically changed. If you can change this by generally clowning and fooling around and kind of showing your underbelly, telling them that you're as vulnerable as they are, that you're starting somewhere, and you may have had a little time on them. I'm 48 years old. The average class student was in their 20s. So I have got like about 25 years of reading and writing that they haven't got. And that when they get to this age, it can probably be, if they decide to dedicate their lives to writing. There you go. The problem with having XY chromosomes is that almost inevitably you stumble into pomposity. You become pompous at some point. So I just said dedicating my life to writing as I have, and I haven't dedicated my life to writing. I've kind of played around with words and I've slapped them about, they've slapped me about, they've come back to haunt me, things I've written, things I've said. I've had a grand time with words. Okay? So if they want to have a grand time with words, when they're 48, they'll all be roughly where I am. It'll all be okay. But at this point in time, when you're actually in a workshop situation, you come out feeling oddly exhausted, which is because you're paying careful attention all the time. You're trying to listen, you're trying to look beyond the postures and the kind of things that young people have to put on as camouflage. Because that's what young people, they're vulnerable and they're sensitive and they're hurting and they carry all kinds of stuff around. You don't get overexcited, all of you who I'm talking about. Okay, but I sort of remember what it was like. So often the poses of being terribly, just feel like slapping them, but you try to understand that, you try to get past it, you try to see what is being said rather than what the words are. And once you're doing that, you're exhilarated by the fact that you discover human beings in their words, in what they're saying. And that's always life. And to a writer, that's material. That's just material. Sometimes the shape of a face, the turn of the head, the posture of the body, all these begin to start stories off. And that is kind of like, it's invaluable.